I just want to say, I just want to say thank you to Jeanette and everyone at TradeThirsty. They're like my favorite people in the world. Every year they do this party in Las Vegas, and they throw this party for tons of people in the financial services industry, some of the top traders in the world. And if you cycle through all of these posts, one thing you'll notice is that's missing from all these is me. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, she just truly is the greatest and just the organizer of all these great minds in this industry.
I'm putting you on my homepage a picture. I know I have a selfie of me and you and Pat. That's going down. It's going down.
I'm just telling you.
Where are you? Why aren't you here? I don't know.
You are no, but yeah. You're the greatest ever, and I'm so glad to be here. And I don't get invited to do many webinars anymore. I cause too much trouble, and hopefully today will cause a lot of trouble.
Lord. And here we go. Hey, take it away. You just go cause that trouble. I'm here.
All right, awesome. I want to say thank you for joining me on a Saturday. I want to make it worth your time, and I want to make it worth your time is money, and I want to make it worth your money as well. So I tend to cover a lot of ground and geek out on technical analysis. And I love my friend Andrew. He's been a friend of mine who was just on a few minutes ago. He's been a friend of mine for a while, and I love that guy. We've done everything together except for serve in the CIA. And he truly is just an incredible human being, and you'll be lucky if you get one of those spots for real. So today I want to talk to you a little bit about automation, but in order to talk to you about automation, I want to teach you a trading system so that by the time that we're done here, it will be irrelevant whether you become a customer of mine or not. What will matter is that I've hopefully left you better than I found you and given you some value, and that's the main point for me. And in order to do that most effectively, I would love to know, what do you trade the most? And so take your time, answer that whenever you want, and let me know what kinds of things you trade and the financial instruments that you are most interested in. And I'll check the questions panel and I'll make sure. So Forex, options, it's great to see your answers coming through. And awesome, fantastic. Futures, options, SPY, selling vertical options, love them, love them. I love those credit spreads for sure. Small cap stocks, love those. J-Love 6025. Okay, great. This helps me a lot because that's going to dictate what kinds of things that what kind of instruments that we look at. And that's going to be absolutely fantastic. Okay, great. At the end of this presentation, I just want to be fully transparent. We're gonna do a presentation here, and then at the end of this presentation, teaching you a simple strategy that works. Hopefully I'll be able to do that, and if I am not able to do that, then I guess you can send me a strongly worded letter, but that's absolutely my intention. Is, like I said, it won't matter to me if you become a customer or not. I'd love to get to know you. I'd love to give you some information how you can contact me and stay in touch. It's not going to affect my life one way or the other if you become a customer, and that's not my purpose here. However, I do want to say that if you would like to learn more after this presentation, the easiest way to do it is jump on over to YouTube. I have 2,000 free videos there. It's the fastest growing YouTube channel in the world, which is not actually true. I just felt like I wanted to say that once in my life. And today I'm going to show you an indicator. I'm going to talk to you about how I built a trading system out of that indicator, which is automated. And then I'm going to ask you at the end for $5. And if I haven't earned $5, then that's on me. But I want to be totally transparent. You're in a webinar. I'm going to spend the majority of the time teaching you a system. And then I want you to know at the end, I'm going to ask you for $5. And if you don't want to give it to me, that's going to be totally fine. But I would like to set the stage now that I'm going to try to earn your trust and teach you something really valuable. And hopefully you're going to want to do some business together in the future. 95% of all traders, which is a statistic that I just made up, either trade too big, they trade too often, or they hold on to their losers. We do these kinds of things in our daily lives, in our relationships, or in our businesses, or with our coworkers, but it manifests itself most obviously in our trading. And I like to say that my trading account is a clear window into my psychology, that you can look at my account statement and you can see the emotional ups and downs of my life. And I'm a generally optimistic person. I feel like things normally work out. I feel like I set expectations very low, and then I'm pleasantly surprised when things go well. And I don't know if anybody here is ever like that. I don't know if any of you are like that, but raise your hand if you're the kind of person that looks on the bright side or generally has an optimistic outlook for how your trading is going to go in the next 12 months. So just raise your hand or say yes, or tell me, hey, that's awesome. I love participation. I want to be interactive here. It's going to be super. Joseph Bigelow. So I want to tell Joseph Bigelow and everybody else that's dropping a yes into the comments section. Joseph Bigelow, I'm going to write my email address on the screen here. And just for interacting with me today, I want to send you a $20 Amazon gift card. So what you do is you write me an email to rob@wrbooker.com, okay? And send me your, I'll have your email address, and I'll send you a $20 Amazon gift card. And hopefully what that will do is you get the message, I love participation, and I want to hear from you in this webinar. So let me ask it again. Who here generally has a positive, optimistic outlook about your trading within the next 12 months? And be the optimistic person that you need to be in order to get the success that you want to have. Oswald says yes. Sean says yes. Sean, you win an Amazon gift card. Send me an email at rob@wrbooker.com. Sean, you're a lifetime member, aren't you? You sneaky little... Yeah, Sean, you get an Amazon gift card. So does anybody think that this is a good idea to teach you a system, give away some stuff, and then maybe we can give away something really nice during this webinar. Maybe we should give away like an iPad or something. I don't know. Never been much for doing boring webinars. All right. So I want to talk to you about 3 weeks to $200 a day, but Jeanette said 500. So let's go 3 weeks to $200 a day, and let's go 6 weeks to $500 a day, maybe 12 weeks. And I want to turn some traditional thinking about trading on its head, disagree with it, and maybe teach you a different way and a different perspective. So I'm going to show you some indicators. I'm going to give you access to those indicators. I'm going to ask you to join a class. I'm going to teach you the whole system right now. But before I do that, I want to set the stage for something. A lot of people think that there is this enormous eternal length of time that you have to wait in order to be successful. And that's a very, very standard thing because all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. And if you don't agree with that, you're headed for trouble. And a lot of people forget the risk disclaimer, but there's also an optimism disclaimer, which is I haven't really done a lot of things successfully in my life by overthinking them. Who here thinks that overthinking is dumb, that thinking too much or obsessing about stuff is dumb? If you think that obsessing or overthinking things is ridiculous and problematic, give me a heck yes. Or if you want to be a little salty, give me a hell yes. Overthinking is one of the major weaknesses that I've had in my life. I'm getting kicked out of my office really soon, and I got to move into a new office, and I'm overthinking where I'm going to move. And I've looked at like 20 offices, and I'm making it worse for myself. When I should just move into some dumpy warehouse, set up 12 monitors, and go to town. But for some reason, I overthink things. And this is what traders do. Steve Shape says it is SHYT, yes. I think I spelled that correctly. Steve, you win an Amazon gift card. Send me an email to rob@wrbooker.com. I'll send you a $20 Amazon gift card. You can buy something nice for yourself. And Sean, my email address is rob@wrbooker.com. I think that success in trading is very similar, that as long as you accept that there is a substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for everyone, what you need to be able to do is before you can start to overthink it and get scared about it, you need to get set up, focus on learning one trading system perfectly. Read the book One Thing by Gary Keller. If there's one book you read this year, I guess besides the Bible or whatever religious text that you read the One Thing by Gary Keller. That is the premise of that book. I'll just summarize it for you in case you want to save some money, is that there is always one thing that if you do it will make everything else non-essential or make everything else easier. And if you just do that one thing, and for trading, it's learning one system and not overthinking it, and then go live, which is counterintuitive. Most people say, well, you should wait, 473 weeks and make sure you're safe and make sure you know where the stop loss goes and make sure you light enough candles in your favorite church and make sure that you don't blah, 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 blah. And I think you should learn a system perfectly. I think that doesn't take very long to do. And I think that if the less time you have to overthink it, the better you're going to do. Okay, so here's the basic gear you're going to need. And then we're going to go right into the charts. Oh yeah, we got like 45 minutes of massive geekness coming here. So if you've been waiting for me to get to the point, I got you. I feel you, brothers and sisters. I feel you. Here we go. What you're going to need are charts. That seems completely obvious. Number two, you're going to need some indicators. I'm going to tell you how to get those indicators, and I can't wait to show them to you. And number three, you're going to need focus. Now, I think every single person here can do that. I've noticed something about rich people. I've met a few in my life, and they're not, not all of them are super smart. In fact, a lot of the most successful people that I've met, I sat next to a guy at breakfast the other day that just put $19 million into a brand new crypto coin where people can invest in his gigantic real estate projects with a coin. The guy can't even spell really well, and he's a little bit hokey, but he's just loaded. He's got like dollar bills falling out of the bottom of his pant legs. That's the kind of guy he is. He's not a super genius, and he doesn't necessarily use correct grammar. He messes up things like there and there, when he texts me messages. But it doesn't matter. What matters is you get the right tools and you get focused, and then some magical things happen. It's crazy. It's crazy. So I don't know if it has always given me a lot of hope that in my own life, where I'm not the smartest dude around, that I have some hope that without being the smartest dude, I can still have success in my life. And especially in trading, I've noticed that some of the most successful people are the most determined and focused people, not the most highly educated people. Look at the people who have survived so far on Game of Thrones. No spoiler alerts. Are they the ones who read the best? No. Are they the ones who got the best educations? No. Are they the scrappiest, most determined? Yeah. Okay. Let's look at some charts. I'm going to show you some things that go into my analysis. I'm going to talk to you about an indicator that I developed, and then we're going to build a trading system out of that. And I'm going to be happy to take your questions at certain stages of the webinar. So hold your questions. So if you are just dying to ask me a question, then don't do it. Just wait, and we'll get to you. Okay? I promise. I feel like we should give away another gift certificate. Who is absolutely 1,000% ready to go? Who's ready to go? Give me a yes. Give me a heck yes, or yeah, Rob, you have waited too long. Kevin's ready. Jack's ready. Joseph's ready. Bruno's ready. Oswald's ready. Oswald, you have the greatest first name in the world. Oswald. I wish Oswald was my first name. I guess I could go down to the courthouse and make it my first name. Charles is ready. Gary Emptyfield is ready. You have the best last name. I wish my name was Oswald Emptyfield. I know, Gary, that's not your last name. Okay, here we go. Remember, send me an email at rob@wrbooker.com if I announce that you're the winner. The other day I did a webinar with 1,000 people on it, and I announced that there were like 7 winners of Amazon gift cards, but 85 people emailed me. Had a lot of people that felt like they were the winner, even though I was pretty clear that I named, anyway, it doesn't matter. Try to make all those people happy. You know me. I'm a people pleaser. Let's talk about a trading system. Let's forget all this other stuff. Okay. Prepare your minds. We're going to focus. I want you to open your mind, if you will. If I could please ask you to do that, it's basically the one thing I could ask you to do is open your mind, suspend your disbelief just for a moment. And I want to share with you a trading system that I developed 6 years ago now, sitting in a coffee shop in Knoxville, Tennessee. I was sitting in a coffee shop in Knoxville, Tennessee. I was driving across the country and staying overnight with my podcast listeners, which from a creepy law and order point of view is probably a bad idea, but it turned out to be a great experience, and I wrote a book about it. But I couldn't publish the book because there were too many weird and creepy stories inside of the book, so I have it sitting in a drawer. Anyway, I was sitting in this coffee shop in Knoxville, Tennessee, and I had this burst of inspiration, if you will, which worked for me. I'm not about to show you some holy grail or some magical indicator. I mean, for me it is, and for you it might not be, and I accept that. Here it is. This red line underneath the candles is what I call Knoxville Divergence. It's not perfect. but I have found that focus leads to success. Perfection is unobtainable. Unattainable? Doesn't matter. They mean the same thing. Knoxville Divergence is an approximation and an early warning sign that a reversal is going to occur. Now, that's going to be really important for those of you that like to trade Tesla. I'm kind of setting up a buy trade on Tesla, but I've been waiting. Been setting up and thinking about a buy trade on Amazon, but I'm waiting. Been setting up and thinking about a buy trade on Facebook, but I'm waiting. I took a trade on gold last year based on what I'm telling you. It's an early warning sign. It's not a guarantee, but it's an early warning sign that there is going to be a reversal. Think of I don't know, one of those birds on one of those Earth shows on Netflix diving into the ocean, right? Caw-caw, caw-caw. Here's the wings. This is the worst bird. Caw-caw, caw-caw. And there's this, and he's diving into the ocean. And he's going really fast, and then he hits the water. And then as he or she, of course, goes under the water, slows down. So the bird might be lower, diving in there for some delicious anchovies. The bird might be lower, but it's not moving at the same rate of speed. It's actually going slower, even though it has fallen farther. If the rate of change is slowing, but something is still falling, that's an early warning sign that there's going to be a reversal. Like I said, you might disagree. You might not like the indicators I'm about to talk about. God bless America and our differences of opinion. But this really does work for me, and it's been working so effectively, I totally automated it. This bullish divergence line is drawn because price is falling like a bird into the ocean. And then, at the same time, the momentum indicator, set to 21, is rising. Now, anybody can plot this indicator. You could just look at these indicators on your screen. You could just look at them. You could just size this bad boy up and say, wow, price is falling, momentum is rising. That's divergence. That's divergence. And I didn't invent it. It was probably invented by Abraham Lincoln in 1861 when he had a quiet moment of reflection by candlelight in the middle of the night. Divergence. Things are moving in the same direction, but they're slowing down. It's an early warning sign. And at the same time, there's this bada boom, bada bing. There's this confirmation. I generally think the confirmation is for 8-year-old Catholics or whatever the age is. But in this case, I kind of like confirmation. And this confirmation is that the relative strength index, RSI, ding, set to 21, goes into oversold territory. I was standing in the airport waiting area in London, England in 2005. And they announced that the flight was oversold. And my friend Maxwell, who's a trader, they said, this flight has been oversold. And he just screamed out, buy! It's just like a trading joke. It fell flat in the crowd at the airport. But amongst traders, it was a huge hit. He went on to, I could tell you a story later. If anybody wants to hear the story of how he held on to a US dollar, Canadian dollar trade for 1,000 points, let me know if you want to hear that story. Okay, that's bullish divergence. Price is falling, but momentum is rising, and the relative strength index was oversold. And then the same thing can occur in reverse. This is the Euro Swiss franc, but it's the Euro Schweizer Franken, but it could be anything. It could be Tesla. We're going to look at lots of other financial instruments because you asked. We're going to look at oil. We'll look at the SPY. We'll look at a bunch of stuff. You could trade futures. You could trade whatever you want with this. This is a Knoxville divergence, and it's bearish. That's my best bear sound. And its price is rising. But the momentum at the same time was rising, and then it suddenly took a dip. Wah, 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 wah. And across the same set of candles, the relative strength index went overbought. Now, overbought and oversold are overused, I think. Well, who cares, right? Let's not get into an argument about indicators and whether they really matter, because it's obvious that they do. This indicator doesn't redraw itself or repaint itself or later on post a thing where, obviously it was easy to see. It's just what it works like. I built this with my bare hands. Do you think if a bear cub kills like a human in the forest, it goes back to the family and it goes, Mom, Dad, I killed a person with my bare hands. And anyway, okay, that was a really bad joke also. That's bearish divergence and can work both ways. Why don't we just look at the SPY? I haven't looked at it in a while. I don't really trade it that often, but I want to show you something that I like to do. Oh, this is a perfect example. I want to show you something that I like to do. On a futures contract, this is a daily chart, but it could be a 4-hour chart or it could be a 60-minute chart. What I like to see on futures and indexes in particular, but individual stocks don't necessarily need this. What I like to see is what I call triple divergence. 1, 2, 3. I love to see that. And in today's session, what I'm going to do is add some additional elements that help you use this indicator in order to take a trade, but not take it too early and not get out of it too soon. If you simply draw a trend line, that's the worst drawn trend line in the world. If you simply draw a trend line underneath those candles or bars, underneath double or triple divergence, 3 lines that show up in succession, you are about to see a reasonably spectacular drop. I don't believe that technicals lead fundamentals, and I also don't care. All I care about is making money. I don't care about making esoteric, weird arguments about whether that's the case. But let's say that you don't want to sell the S&P 500 because you know interest rates are low, and you know that the markets are going to price that in, and you know that any time that the S&P 500 drops, you're likely to see a pretty significant recovery. Let's say you trade the ES. Let's say you trade options on the SPY. It's beautiful. A simple 60-minute chart plus bullish divergence plus a trend line is just a beautiful, harmonious, loverly, delightful smorgasbord of goodness and profit. It is glorious. Divergence by itself can be what some traders refer to as a false signal. There are no false signals, right? I mean, it's not like, I mean, it happened and it's there. It's not false. It's just early. Remember I said early warning sign. Divergence plus trend line breaks equals sweet, delicious profit. Now, if you like to trade options and you like to buy time, oh my, do I love to buy time. I hate systems that are like, and what you're going to do is you're going to put the thing here and you're going to buy it, and then you're going to put a stop loss really close because it's, and then you keep stopping out of a trade and you go, who is this jackhole teaching me to put a stop loss there? And the funny little reality is that stop losses get hit for lots of reasons, including despicable, unscrupulous, it's a word, I just learned that word, bad people, maybe hunt stops or whatever, or see orders or dark pools or whatever. But if you buy time, you don't care about that. You don't care. It's why I love on a divergence and a trend line break, you buy time, right? You could sell a put down low and you could, you could buy a put down low. You could buy a put just below the lows that were made. And then you could sell a put that's at the money that's going to give you some cash, and you can have a vertical credit spread that expires on a 60-minute chart. You could have that expire in 2 to 3 days. Who said waiting around is a great idea? It's not. I hate waiting. I hate being in trades for long periods of time. But let's say that you did want to trade this with pure shares, pure delicious shares. Well, let's take it a step further. What I'm about to show you is patented. Just kidding. You can share it with whoever you want. Okay, here we go. What I'm about to show you is a secret I learned in the jungle tribes of the Amazon by a group of people called the whatever. Doesn't matter. Let's look at another example. This is the SPY in March. This is the 15-minute chart. Fine. Let's use the 15-minute chart to do exactly what we just talked about. Okay. So now we're going to add some things to it. Wait a minute. We'll do this in a second. Who here, raise your hand and say if you're having a good time. Is anybody having a good time? I do a lot of Forex, but sure, I trade stocks and futures also. Vertical spreads, really. Okay, Michael Patterson is having a good time. Michael Patterson, you win an Amazon gift card. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Michael Patterson, thank you for saying you're having a good time. Send me an email to rob@wrbooker.com. I'll send you a $20 Amazon gift card. Robert Emptyfield, lot of participation from you, Robert. I think there might be an Amazon gift card in your coming future. Al's having a good time. Charles is having a good time. Robert's having a good time. JT's having a good time. Waiting to use your stocks on strategies on the stocks right now using your Forex. Great. Now let's look at another example. Do you see how participating brings joy and peace to our lives as humans? I love you all. I think by now you know I love you, right? You know I'm having a good time. Thanks for being here on a Saturday, everybody. I imagine I'm sitting across from you and just having this conversation over, I don't know, just like 25 beers. Like just a friendly conversation between two people who are definitely not having trouble holding their alcohol. Oh, look at that, Michael Patterson. You are one anxious person for your gift card. I already got your email. Sean Mahoney, love you. You also asked me a question. You have a major question. Good. We'll take care of business there. Here is the S&P 500 on a 15-minute chart. I'm fine with that. I ain't got no problem with that. Here it goes. Bullish divergence. Bullish, B-U-L-L-K-D for Knoxville Divergence. Right there. Yeah. But then something magical and delightful happens. Let's say you buy it. Let's say you do a vertical spread. Let's just say you buy a call. Outright. Let's just say you buy a call. Maybe you're buying out of the money call. I want to show you some profit target ideas for when you know that maybe the price is right. Ding, 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 ding. Anybody see that Netflix special with that guy that wasted his life memorizing prices for the prices, right? Yep, sure that guy was just fighting off the suitors. Okay, I want to show you something that we can add to it, and it's going to take me a minute to present it. Right? Like I said, we're going to geek out a little bit. Join me as we geek out on stuff. What I want you to do, and it's free on every single charting platform in the world, is I want you to add daily pivots to your chart. A daily pivot point is yesterday's, awkward pause, yesterday's high plus yesterday's low, that's such an annoying voice, plus yesterday's close, added together, and then divided by 3. And then it ends up being a level that is in place for the entire next day. So the market closes on a Monday, and then Monday's high can be added together with Monday's low, which can be added together with Monday's close and then divided by 3. And you can see that right here on the chart. Turns into a blue line right here. This is a blue line that appeared on the, let's just say that's the 8th. And that line is the yesterday's high plus yesterday's low plus yesterday's close added together and then divided by 3, and it ended up being this fixed point in time called a daily pivot point. Most of you already knew that. Some of you did not. And I'm here for you, not the other way around. All right, so that daily pivot is generally hit. Look at this chart. Look at how glorious. Look at this. It's hit by price. It's touched 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 by price. Whoops, missed, touched by price. Most days, a pivot is touched by price on the day that it is created. Call that a hit daily pivot. But some days it's missed. Here she comes, missed pivot. Missed pivot. I really did have a question one time in a webinar. I said, who's missed pivot? Which is fine. I sometimes don't enunciate the ED. The missed pivot, or in Spanish, pivot. And that is a daily pivot that was not hit by price. It becomes a magnet, especially in a bull market. In a bull market, these missed daily pivots down low, underneath price, those are low quality because we're in a bull market. Newsflash, bull market, probably ending sometime this year. So that becomes a magnet for price. What we can do, now we're putting the pieces of this really intricate, cool, geeked out puzzle together. Puzzle piece number 1 is the Knoxville Divergence. Puzzle piece number 2 is a trend line, the break of which creates a buy trade. And 3 is a pivot point. 1, 2, 3. I call this trifecta. My uncle Warren, may he rest in peace, he was so good to me. He used to walk me around Brooklyn, New York. And there were these horse races that were, you know, the trifecta or whatever. And we would walk around the city, and he would make just lewd jokes. And when he made a third lewd joke, he would call it a trifecta. It's no point whatsoever, but that he was so good to me. He was just such a good person to me. And so I named the system 5 or 6 years ago. I named it after him, or, you know, what he used to laugh about. So the latest iteration of this, or its best version, is trifecta 7. That's what I'm going to talk to you about in a little while. That's the $5 thing I'm going to talk to you about. And that's a buy trade. 1, divergence. 2, trendline break. 3, target. Now, it's not just for the S&P 500. Some of you said you trade futures. Some of you trade small cap stocks. I don't know if I have any small cap stocks in here. I don't know what this company is. Expelliarmus. But let's take a look. Shall we take a look? Shall we play a game? I said that to my wife the other night, and she had never seen Matthew Broderick in War Games. So I was like, we need to cancel all of our weekend plans with the Pope and Michelle Obama, and we need to stay at home and watch that movie. Who here has seen War Games? Say, I saw War Games, and then maybe we'll give another Amazon gift card away. Okay, so here's number 1, bullish divergence on this weird $19 stock, Excel, EXEL. Then a trend line break, and then a move upward to a daily pivot toward a daily pivot. There's going to be within 24 to 72 hours of that trend line break, you're going to get, your option is going to increase in value, especially if what you're doing is a credit spread. I can't say this strongly enough. I don't even know if this is a bull. I don't even know if the stock is garbage. They may make who knows what. Who knows what they make? It doesn't matter what they make. I don't even know if it's bullish. What's the matter for your bullish stock? I don't know. But it still works anyway. If you got a credit spread and it only had 3 days to expiration, that is going to lose value fast. It's going to expire worthless for whoever bought it from you. And that sold put that you're going to have that gave you the credit is going to be glorious. That's going to be sweet, delicious profit. Amat, one of my favorite stocks, still don't even know what this company does. Same deal. Gosh, there's a couple of examples on this. Now we can show an example of where maybe things didn't go maybe as well as we might have hoped. Bearish divergence, trend line break, and we get a drop, but we don't get one all the way down to a recently missed pivot. And this options trade might end up being garbage. This is a 15-minute chart. I like the 15-minute chart, by the way. You can pick the chart you like, but I like the 15-minute chart. Here's another bearish divergence, trend line break, and then we do get down to that level within 24 hours. So some of them are going to work and some of them aren't going to work. Right? It's fine. It's totally fine. It's fine. I'm fine. You're fine. We're all fine. Maybe you trade gold futures. I trade gold. I like it. I like gold. What's your problem? Just kidding. I'm kind of a bull on gold. It's likely that I would ignore any kind of bearish signal on gold, but you know, do what you want, jerk. Just kidding. Here is bullish divergence, trend line break. These are gold futures. You want some ticks? Go get them. I like this trade better because it's got a missed pivot target. I don't like this trade as much because there's not an obvious missed pivot target within view. You want some ticks? This is a great way to get them. Absolutely love that setup. Bullish divergence, trend line break, and then there's a bonus. Oh, what say you? A bonus? Yes, there is. And if you act now, just kidding, this arrow is called a reversal tab or a reversal arrow. I first introduced this, I don't know, doesn't matter, a while back. Let's see if I can find the chart that explains what that is. Reversals code. Here we go. Here's how to make it. Looks like we made it. Let's look at a couple examples. There we go. Thanks, Barry Manilow. We'll be right back. Oh, there's a 1-minute chart. What kind of moron looks at, oh, me. We don't want to look at that. We want to look at gold. Let's look at gold futures. We don't need to look at Forex. I do a lot of Forex that do, but I don't like to be, pigeonholed in one area, okay? I don't like to be told that I only do one thing. I don't like to be told anything. Here we go. We'll look at a bunch of examples of this. Ow, just hit the top of my Microsoft Surface pen. Apologize for that. This is a bullish reversal arrow. In this chart, the stochastic set to a ridiculous 70-10-10, which I've now used for 10 years. If you want to really jack up an indicator, like pump it up, triple the settings for that indicator, and you will watch something that no one else looks at unfold before your very eyes. You have beautiful eyes, by the way. Okay, so that's the stochastic oscillator in oversold territory. At the same time, the MACD, set to just a regular 12.26.9, is crossing that zero plane on the horizon. So it's crossing into positive momentum. At the same time, there's lots of stochastic runway. That's a bullish reversal tab. Here's a bearish one. You can see it in red at the top of the screen. That means the stochastic oscillator is in overbought territory, and we're crossing below the zero line, and then we get some movement down. You can actually, this is part of the Knoxville Divergence indicator stuff. You can actually just put this indicator on your screen if you want to trade gold futures. Oh my gosh. It doesn't redraw. It's beautiful. And guess what you can use as profit targets? That's right, folks. You can also use as profit targets a delicious pivot point. Let's do something crazy. Let's look at my intraday pivot points. You can even set intraday pivot point targets for these futures trades if you want to do some futures trading. Bearish reversal tab. This is a 1-hour pivot. This is a 4-hour pivot, and this red one is an 8-hour pivot instead of daily pivots. They're intraday pivots. Great targets. Come on over here. I want you to meet some great people. Okay, who's having a good time? Who wants to look at some more charts? Who here is a total geek and wants to look at more charts? I do. That was just me. Sorry, that wasn't a real person. Yes, says Jim. Jürgen says he would like to look at more charts. Jack says he would like to look at more charts. Jack, I need to, hold on. Gary Emptyfield. Would Gary and Emptyfield III please send me an email? My email address is rob@wrbooker.com. I don't really check that email, but Justin, who works with me during the weeks, does, and he will send you an Amazon gift card out of my own financial pocket. Yes, says Charles. How do you write on your screen? It says, whatever your name is. I own, okay, brief technical. Can I have a brief technical moment? Can I go like brief technical geek stuff? Thank you. I will give myself that. I will give myself permission to do that. I shall hereby Surface, Microsoft Surface, bringing computers to you. Microsoft Surface. So I own, okay, nope, don't want to sign up for your stupid newsletter. I own, I'll show you what I own. I have a Microsoft Surface Go. It's beautiful. It's kind of underpowered, but I love it. I own one of those bad boys. Right now, I am using a Microsoft Surface 6. I also have a Surface Book 2. I have one of these, but I don't use it very much. Maybe we should give it away one day. Not today, but maybe we should give that away someday. We should probably do that sometime. We should do a big webinar and just give that away. I made a lot of money on that. And then sitting in the corner, I have one of these bad boys, the Surface Studio 2. So I have I'm such a dummy. Every time I make, like every month that I make money in the markets, I basically blow that money on computer equipment because I love it. But my next thing is when I build my new studio office, I want to get a computer with a bunch of screens. This was really just brought to you by me totally geeking out, and it wasn't really the point of today's webinar, but I just got excited. So right now I'm using a Surface Pro 6, and what you do is you click here at the bottom of the screen, you click on this that little pen with the pen, or you just click the back of the Microsoft pen, and it pops up this screen that you can write on. It's just really cool. So we've covered Knoxville Divergence. We've covered reversal tabs. We've covered daily pivots. We've covered intraday pivots. We talked about the importance of trend lines. Oh my gosh, we've actually done a lot of stuff. We could look at the YM, sure. I can't give any investment advice, right? I can't, that's a dumb idea. I'm not a registered investment advisor. You should not, all trading involves a substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all traders. I want to talk about, there's some dots on the screen. Those are simply price patterns. Those are simply price action like hammers, dojis, hemojis, stuff like that. Here is bullish divergence on the YM. Break of a trend line. Oh, delightful. Delicious reversal tab going up. And this is a daily pivot. Great target. That is a really, really great example of the kind of trade I look for. If you are, which I think you should be, how rude of me to say that, if you are bullish. I wouldn't go out there selling Dow futures on the dips. I'd probably be buying it on the dips. I'm not giving you specific advice for you, but okay, bullish divergence. Even some little price action, bullish engulfing candles and whatnot. Break of a trend line, reversal tab, no missed pivot. So I don't like it as much. I'd rather have an obvious missed pivot in that situation. Okay, so not as interesting to me. I'd like to see some kind of pivot level involved in this movement. Here's a good one. This is a really good one. Nice example. Bullish divergence. Oh man, we're also at S3. I don't think we have enough time to really go deep into that. How deep is your love? It's really deep. And we could break the trend line, do a buy trade, and then we're going to creep upward toward this daily pivot. I'm going to check the questions, the comments, and the jokes. NQ. How do you set stops and profit targets? So I think I talked about that. You could probably, who here can answer how I set profit targets? Who here? Who here? Okay, do it. Don't just say you can. Yeah, great. Daily pivot. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh. This is so much fun. And the stop loss, if you're trading options, you just buy time and then maybe it expires. Or you set a stop loss below the lows or above the highs. Okay, we'll take a look at NQ. We've done a lot of futures here. Really, honestly, I'm going to give you, I'm going to tell you how to get the class, and then if you want, you can chart any kind of financial instrument that you like. Here's the NAS. Here's the NASDAQ. It's so delightful. I'm not really, I guess I'm more bearish the NASDAQ than I am the Dow, right? But I still think buying is probably still a better option than selling, at least for the time being. Don't love this bullish divergence here because there's not really a pivot target to go for. So it kind of scares me. And this is bearish. So in a bull market, I'd probably be less likely to trade that. I think you'll notice, though, that lots of these divergences on futures contracts, lots of them, are good for some ticks. Some ticks. Some pig from Charlotte's Web. Ooh, look at all Head and Shoulders. Get a little closer. No, that's not the Head and Shoulders motto thing, song. Shoulder, head, shoulder, Rob's head and shoulder. Don't forget to clean your room. And then it breaks that head and shoulders lower. That is not part of our webinar today, so forget I even said that, but buy Martin Pring's excellent book, Pring on Price Patterns. I used to prank call Martin Pring on my podcast, but then he was so nice, I stopped doing that. This is bullish divergence, break of a trend line, beautiful daily pivot, and a move straight to it. That is some serious ticks. Like, that's more ticks than you can get on your dog in the backyard in an Alabama berry patch. Okay, that's a king crown, not a Head and Shoulders. Oh, dear Lord. Around here, we actually don't care about semantics. Sorry, wrong webinar. We don't care. I don't care. I name everything something that I like to name it. And if it's a king's crown, beautiful. Let's call it the Baratheon, the Targaryen Baratheon taco. Doesn't matter. Okay, we haven't really looked at stocks, and I don't really have a giant list. I change these all the time. But once again, I'd probably argue against selling Facebook. All right? I know that some of you hate Facebook and think Mark Zuckerberg is like Lucifer or something, but I still think that you do what is right. Here's bullish divergence, break of a trend line, and I love you, Robert. It's a king's crown. Fine. I love you. I don't mean to offend you ever. I never mean to do that. I get a little bit caught up in stuff. And there you go. Great profit targets. Okay, let me just, if you don't mind, if I could have your permission for just a moment. I hope that I've given you $5. I hope I've given you $5 of value. If I haven't, I'm a real idiot. And I would like to invite you to go to robbiebooker.com/T7 or the link, Jeanette, that you have. You can post that in the webinar as well. Both of them go to the same page. At that link, you'll find Trifecta 7. Trifecta 7 is pretty much the most advanced version of the trading system that I like best. It also happens to be a trading system that I automated as well. And the first step is to, if you want to, I'd love for you to do that. So come on a magical ride with me. I love you. You're going to figure that out pretty fast. I'd love to give you the complete strategy and the indicators that go with it. The indicators are written for TradingView, MT4, MT5, NinjaTrader 8, NinjaTrader 7, eSignal, Sierra charts, everything. Thinkorswim, even though building indicators for Thinkorswim is basically more difficult than building a life-size replica of planet Earth. So if you use Thinkorswim, we do have them. I'm just warning you that Thinkorswim makes it very difficult to build charts. Tasty Works, Tom Snozoff, does not like custom indicators or people that sell custom indicators. I love the man. He's a god among men or whatever. Fine. I'm not into hero worship, but he won't let anybody have custom indicators on Tastyworks. So sorry, you're out of luck if that's the case. Can't help you. eSignal, TradeStation. And if I didn't list a platform right here, then we'll build it for you as long as they allow custom programming. As long as they allow it. Interactive Brokers does not allow for custom indicators either. I love Interactive Brokers. Plus, on the page after that next step, there are 2 spots available for lifetime membership. That's kind of expensive and not for everyone, but that's if you want to work together with me and get up and running. And I take a limited number of people at a time. So that'll be available as well. So I'm going to keep that link up on the screen, and I want to show you what it looks like when you go to those places. We're going to wrap this up with some questions, so get your questions ready. This is what's going to happen when you go to that link. It's going to be a lion. Don't know why. I just like the picture of the lion. Trifecta 7 is here. Everything that the light touches on this page is yours, Simba. And you click on Let's Go, and that takes you to a page where you can check out for $5. You get the Trifecta 7 class, which is like 20 lessons, real short lessons that you can get through really quickly so you can get up and running right away. All of your indicators that you need to put on your charts, everything that we talked about posting here. And then on the page after that, if you're interested in working together with me, we got a lifetime membership for a limited number of people. Here's my pitch. I would love to work with you. I would love to get to know you better. I'd love to have you come on our member webinars. I'd love to prove to you that I offer very inexpensive but very simple working strategies, and I'd love to have the chance to work together with you. So now is the time. I would definitely love the chance to work together with you. So you go to that link that you see on the screen, robbiebooker.com/T7. And while you are at that link and you want to ask me a question or 10, I will take the questions. Okay. So what happens if you are trading and you have some positive trades, but you have some losing trades that you are holding on to? So Sean, for example, what you can do is you can follow some of the steps in the Trifecta 7 class, for example, actually, to take additional trades that pay off the trades that aren't going as well as you might have hoped. And I have a whole series of videos on YouTube called How to Get Out of Bad Trades. Like, let's say you hold on to a trade longer than you wish you had. I have a whole series of free videos on YouTube about how to deal with that. Jeanette, how you doing? I only use Thinkorswim, so I guess I'm out, says Gary. Yeah, Gary, I mean, we built the indicator for Thinkorswim, and you can use it on Thinkorswim. You can. It's just not going to look exactly like what you saw on my screen today. And so I don't want to give you, I never want to give anybody some false hope that that you're going to suddenly log in and it's going to look exactly like that. There you go. Les says, is that already in the lifetime members area? You bet your bottom it is. It's 1,000% inside your lifetime members area, for sure. Absolutely, for sure. Oswald says gold, mini, S&P, euro, dollar, yen. Yep, all those things would work really nicely. I don't really like to trade the yen pairs in Forex right now, especially in super volatile markets. Don't love to do that. Not my favorite thing in the world. But certainly, Sean, welcome. Sean's a lifetime member now. Sean, you are most welcome here. Sean, let's set up a time for you and I to talk next week. So one of those two places is gone. Sean, I cannot wait to work with you. Sean, if you email me, and I'm going to put this email address back up on the screen right now, okay? And then I got to hand it back over to the good folks at TradeThirsty and Jeanette, who was so super awesome for having me on. If you want a gift card, and I remember who you are, if you want a gift card, send me an email. And Sean, send me an email to rob@wrbooker.com. I'm going to go take my kids to the Pikachu movie, so I won't answer you today, but I might answer you tomorrow morning. We'll set up a time and we'll chat real quick, and we'll get you up and running, doing all the good things. This, by the way, this offer comes down. I can't explain all the reasons why, but this offer is available today, and then I got to take it down. I'm doing a partnership with another company who is going to buy the rights to sell some of my products, and this is one of them. So this, I don't want to be a jerk or anything, but this is literally going to cost like $1,500 like next week or whatever. So I know that sounds stupid, and it sounds like I'm not telling the truth because it sounds crazy, but I did a pretty giant partnership for my company, and I will not actually have the rights to even put that up on a sales page, and this is the last time I'm going to be able to do that. So if you haven't gotten that, go to that link, grab it. Whoever's coming next on this webinar is going to be awesome, and Jeanette, thank you for having me.
All right, Robbie Booker. Thank you very much. I saw that. I was like, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome, Rob. I put your link up for you, and appreciate you, and have fun at your movie, and tell everybody I said hey and hug them for me. And I'm gonna dismiss you so you can go have fun.
Okay, bye.